Hello, everyone. I'm Jessie, the Director of Special Events and Community Engagement at Maryland Public Television. Welcome to MPT's third American Portrait Learning Session. Today, we're going to take a look at the American Portrait Project and meet some of the amazing individuals that decided to share their story. We will find out about which story prompts they submitted and why they felt compelled to participate in the project. Finally, we'll explain how you can share your story and possibly be featured in Maryland's American Portrait Special. But first, if you haven't heard of American Portrait, it's the National Storytelling Project created by PBS, and all of the content, it comes from you. PBS American Portrait and Maryland Public Television is still accepting submissions for this project. Simply visit mpt.org/PBS American Portrait and click on Share Your Story. We know each of you has a unique story to tell, and we want to highlight your diverse perspectives. In order to get a better understanding of this project, let's take a look at the American Portrait preview video right now.
Oh, it's rolling.
Here in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Downtown in Minneapolis.
Here in Decatur, Georgia.
Here in rural South Dakota.
Happy to see you guys.
What a great place it is that I live.
My greatest challenge is
having to visit my son in prison.
It's hard for people to really understand fear and anxiety that people like me have to deal with on a daily basis.
What gets me up in the morning?
Tradition I carry on.
I took a risk when I graduated.
Most days I feel
Extremely humble.
Excited to
find our community.
I'm on top of the world when I think about that.
What gets me out of bed in the morning?
What gets me out of bed is
growing two little humans.
I'm the most proudest mother out here.
You don't know what it's like.
You don't know what it's like
To lose your father.
He was one of my biggest fans.
You don't know what it's like
to be married outside of your race.
that's my husband.
People always ask, what is your secret?
You don't know what it's like, but I'm sure you can empathize.
These things make me different, but I think these things make me the same.
MPT has been given an exciting opportunity to create an American Portrait special showing what makes all of you uniquely Maryland. We are so eager to hear your story, and we hope that you're all eager to share. If you haven't already done so, head over to mpt.org/PBS American Portrait to learn more about the project and to submit your story. The more content we have, the more voices we can share. We've already heard from a number of Marylanders, and we are excited to hear from some more of them today. Right now, I'd like to welcome Gina. Thank you so much, Gina, for being here.
Hi.
Thank you for submitting your story for this project. And why don't we take a look at Gina's story right now?
When I step outside my door, I want to touch people through my art. And my art manifests in different ways. Sometimes it's humor and I'm doing stand-up. Sometimes it's spoken word and I'm bringing you a little bit something heavier to make you think, often cry. Sometimes it's through my writing. I wrote this book, and this is a book of observations. Some are funny, some just make you go, but I want to touch you. I want to create in you the opportunity to sort of laugh or feel in some way that allows you to just know you're human. We're all in this together, right? So I want to be that. I want to bring characters to life through my acting. I just want to be art. I just want to be art.
Gina, thank you so much. I love that you found your calling to connect with people. Can you fill us in on some of the projects you have coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely doing something creative most days. Like I had an audition today, but next week I'm going up to New York. I'm part of a documentary. I can't say a lot about it. I signed a lot of things, but it's about women. I also have a role in a feature film, and we'll start shooting that in April. And I'm finishing rewrites of a pilot script that I wrote, which is about a Gen X woman who's divorced and finally pursuing life as a performance artist, despite having to take care of, her children and her mother and a 9-to-5 job.
Wow. You got lots going on.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so exciting. So you mentioned in your story that you changed careers a little later in life. So what words of wisdom do you have for someone maybe taking that scary but exciting change in their life?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have something, or many of us, who didn't pursue something that we really wanted to do early on for whatever reason. I think we just need to find a way to walk through that closed door. And if on the other side of that door is what you really want to do, you'll find a way. Like a path will be created somehow. And don't let anybody tell you that age is an impediment, especially yourself, because we get in our own way, right? So I think find a way to do exactly what you want to do, because that's why we're all here.
That's great advice, Gina. Thank you so much. Make sure you stick around because we'll be hearing from you later. So I want to now bring in Naveen. And hi, Naveen, how are you?
Oh, very good, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Naveen's another one of our project participants, and let's hear his story right now.
Hi, my name is Naveen Kumar, and my greatest challenge is the fact that I have not lived a normal life. I have faced medical struggles, life and death, throughout my entire life. I was born with a very rare heart condition, a congenital heart condition, that required 5 major open heart surgeries throughout my life to address. And that includes having a partially mechanical heart now, as well as a cardiac pacemaker. 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with young onset Parkinson's disease at the age of only 39. And that too has presented its challenges. But as I will explain shortly, that has not stopped me from making a positive impact in the world.
I love that, Naveen. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Can you tell us why playing table tennis is so important to you?
Yes, ma'am. Given the struggles that I faced in life, again, being born with this rare heart condition, not sure if I was even going to survive any of my heart surgeries. My father, at a young age, I was only 4 years old, he had decided that I needed to have some form of outlet in my life, in terms of exercise, because I was heavily restricted as a child. So table tennis seemed like the perfect game because of the fact that table tennis transcends age, gender, physical handicap. I play leagues on a given night, at least pre-COVID. We would play leagues on a given night. I'd have to face somebody my age. I might have to face a 6-year-old Chinese girl. I'd have to face, somebody who's disabled like myself. And, I had to treat everybody with the same level of respect and playing ability, because that 6-year-old could kick my butt if I'm not careful. And let me tell you, it's all very humbling. I mean, table tennis has enabled my health to drastically improve, such that I have seen improvements to my heart. And I've also seen improvements in my Parkinson's disease, as my neurologist has been tracking me at every single appointment for the last the last 8 years that I've been seeing my doctor. He has seen a 94% improvement in my Parkinson's with medication and exercise like table tennis versus medication alone, which is
incredible.
Which is incredible. They've started doing research on table tennis now, And I'm not the only one. Worldwide, people have been playing table tennis as a therapy for Parkinson's that it got so popular that we had our very first world championships for Parkinson's. And I am honored to say that I won the bronze medal here in singles, and I won the silver medal here in doubles. So, I mean, for me, to be able to represent our country, our USA, for me, that's the true gold medal. And, me being 47 years old and with Parkinson's disease, Parkinson's normally ends careers, but I never got that memo. And it's actually, I wasn't an athlete before Parkinson's. I only became an athlete after. For me to be able to represent our country now as a world level athlete and hopefully being able to inspire people, that's been a blessing. And also, I speak worldwide as a motivational speaker, and I also movie act right now in Hollywood. So in that sense, the table tennis has also been kind of the unifying force that binds all that together. And,
yeah. You have a ton of talents. You mentioned playing the violin, acting, motivational speaking. And so these aren't all random interests, right? There's a connection there. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, basically all those different activities have, in one way or the other, have improved my Parkinson's. So like, I used to have difficulty with my speaking voice on the initial onset of Parkinson's 8 years ago. And I found that singing, I used to be a professional singer. It actually helped improve it got rid of that Parkinson's symptom. And playing the violin too, that helped with my muscle movements. And, the table tennis, of course, has helped, as I mentioned. And even movie acting. 2 years ago, I made my movie acting debut in a movie called Attack of the Unknown, which is out right now on Amazon. It stars Richard Grieco, and I play a SWAT police officer. I get to crash the van, which is this awesome experience. But even that, I'm sharing my story as an actor too, because of the fact that for many of those people on set, they have never worked with an actor with Parkinson's. Of course, Michael J. Fox, Alan Alda. There are a few of us in Hollywood that do have Parkinson's, but many folks have not had that experience. So in that sense, I get to share my story with those folks to bring more awareness to Parkinson's, and also all the memorization that I have to do for lines. Mm-hmm. That's greatly helped my Parkinson's, because not only is there a physical aspect of Parkinson's, with the handshaking and all that, but there's also the mental aspects. And in terms of memory improvement, I find that acting is very, very helpful. And as you can see, my hands are shaking a little bit, but I take this beautiful ping pong paddle here and see, you notice my hands have stopped shaking. That's the beauty of table tennis and its impact on Parkinson's, because, it might shake there, but, it doesn't shake there. And with my motivational speeches, that's actually one point I wanted to just mention. I speak to different audiences, corporate. I speak to a lot of Parkinson's patients. Whenever they see what I just now showed you all, where my hand is shaking and then I put the paddle in my hand and you completely don't see it, it blows a lot of people's minds, and it gives people hope. I have actually seen people who I've spoken to at my Parkinson's events that I speak at. A few of them, I could see them cry too in tears, because I think for a lot of them, Parkinson's was their first major illness in life. And, it's a very difficult thing to have to cope with. And for a lot of people, they've lost hope. But, with me, having been born and raised with so many heart medical issues, that has actually helped. I've been able to share my story, and in that sense, give people hope, because that's the point of us sharing our stories. It's to bring hope to other people and to find that commonality.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Naveen. Make sure you stick around. We want to hear from you later. Next up, we're going to bring in Morgan and Jorian. Hello, ladies. Welcome.
Hi.
Let's first take a look at their story.
Hi, my name is Morgan, and I am one half of a brand called The Rooted Life. Obviously, since quarantine, I haven't been able to go to church, so I've had to really reimagine, what do Sundays look like for me, and how do I continue to commune and worship God even if I can't be in a church? So it's been a great opportunity for me to find some creative ways to just spend some time reflecting and worshiping. I love to start my day off with some yoga and some stretching, or maybe working out. I love watching my favorite pastors online on YouTube and just spending the day reflecting, journaling, reading my Bible, and just preparing myself for the week to come. So although my Sundays look a lot different than they ever have, it's been a great opportunity to find new ways to really commune with God and worship. And I look forward to continuing these creative practices of reflecting and worshiping and resting even after the pandemic ends.
Ladies, I love that story. Thank you so much for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about your business, The Rooted Life?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that one. So we kind of identify as like a lifestyle brand for the Christian millennial. And so our platform is really about connecting biblical truth to everyday life. So we really just kind of like to bring what we learn about in church and what we read about in the Word to life for people. So our main component of our brand is our podcast. And so we record a lot of different episodes about tons of different topics, and also using kind of our social influence as well, just to really keep people encouraged and inspired. And I think that it's been such an honor really to just be able to be two young female Black voices in a space that doesn't often elevate our voices. And so I think that's also one of the reasons why we wanted to start the business, just to give people that look like us an opportunity to feel seen and validated in their experiences while remaining encouraged in their faith journeys.
I love that. Thank you. Can you talk about why the topic of faith is so important to the both of you?
Yeah, I can take that one. I think in a year like this, everyone's kind of looking for an anchor because it's just been such an unexpected year. I think even going into 2021, we live in the DMV, so all the things at the Capitol, it's been a hard year. And so I think more than ever, we've kind of clinged to our faith to have some kind of hope that there will be peace one day, that there will be a purpose, that we will somehow one day all be reconciled and be able to find, unity with one another. And so I think that it's just been so important, and it's been such an anchor. And I think also Dorian kind of touched on it. We don't often see people like us getting a platform to talk about our faith. I think in a political atmosphere where religion is often brought in, you see a different side of our faith. And so I think it was important for us to show the peaceful side, the reflective side, the part in which we're having a heart transformation so that we can be loving and kind to our neighbors and treat people with compassion. So I think for us, it was important to really show another perspective of our faith that shows more of the unity and the kindness.
Yeah. I love that. That is so important. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Yeah. I'd like to bring back all of our panelists. Hey, everyone. So we want to hear from all of you. Why did you participate in PBS American Portrait Project? Gina, why don't you go first?
Yeah, I'm a storyteller at heart. It's what I do. I mean, whether it's through my writing or my acting or my stand-up comedy, even through my consulting, I tell stories. I weave them together and I bring them to life for you in some fashion, right? So I just find that stories are how we connect to humanity. So that's why I wanted to participate.
Yeah, that's so great. And you guys are also natural. I love it. You are storytellers at heart, I can tell. Naveen, why did you want to participate?
Well, the constant throughout human civilization has always been the concept of storytelling. And for me, I feel most comfortable being able to share stories and be able to listen to stories as well. And, sharing one story is actually bigger than oneself, because you have an opportunity to make a positive impact on the lives of others. As a motivational speaker, that's very important. And as I was mentioning earlier, even as an actor, being able to put myself into my characters who I portray, it's telling a story of, whoever wrote that script also. So it's for that reason, to be able to share my story and show people that it's the difficult times in life and how we choose to see them that shape and define us. I could sit here and be depressed about all the medical struggles I faced, or I could celebrate the fact that I'm still alive, that I've defied the odds, that my parents who thought I was going to die, when my parents, doctors told them I wasn't going to survive, and I had to see my parents, my mother cry, for them to still have me. I wake up every morning, I take that first deep breath, and I thank God for that privilege, and it's to be able to be on your show is such an honor, because, we all have something to share, and I encourage everybody to do this. It's such a natural part of who we are. It's what makes us human.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Morgan, why did you want to participate?
I think for a lot of people, when they think about Christianity, think about this organized religion that's done pretty horrible things. I think we can all admit that. But it was important to kind of show that it's really about an intimate relationship, and that being someone who is religious is more than just going to church and crossing off, the checklist. It's really about being reflective. I just wanted to show another perspective about the yoga and the plants, and just like taking time to be quiet and still with God, to really reflect and hear him and see how I can be a better person and see how I can display Christ's love with others. So I just wanted to show that our faith wasn't just this religious structure, but also about an intimate relationship with our Creator.
I love that. Dorian, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I think for me, I thought a lot about the word American and how it can be loaded for a lot of people. And I thought about how, as a Black woman, I'm not often the author of my narrative in America. And so I just love the opportunity that PB has created for me to actually tell my story from my perspective. And I think for me, though my being a Black woman is a big part of my identity, but my faith is a huge part as well. And a part that I don't often get to highlight or share as much on a daily basis. You can't necessarily look at me and tell that that's a part of my story. And so being able to just kind of elevate that here on this platform was really an amazing opportunity.
That's great. Thank you so much. So you guys know that we've gotten a lot of submissions, but we're accepting some more. So can you give some words of encouragement? Why should others share their story? And Gina, I'll start with you again.
Yeah, sure. I think we often think that we're the only person with a certain story, or that we're the only person experiencing something, right? But when we share our story, and when we listen to stories that are being shared by others, we realize that there's unity across the board, and stories are a bridge to understanding. So we need to share, we need to listen. And the more we do that, the better the bridge will be, right? The stronger it will be. So that's why I think more people should do it. And I'm excited to hear more.
Thank you. Naveen, what do you think?
I think it's very important because it's our responsibilities as human beings. Our ancestors did it. Much of what we know today, a lot of the customs for our cultures, everything, it was passed down generation to generation, often through orally, through stories or written, for that matter. And that's why it's very important we continue that tradition for our children and for their children, to be able to share these stories so that they don't get lost, and to be able to help people. That's what it's all about, to help people. And
I love that. Yeah, for sure. Morgan, any words of wisdom?
I think that sharing. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay.
I think that sharing your story is an act of healing. It's a means of liberation. I think when you tell your story, you're able to own parts of it, the good and the bad, the trauma, the things that have been beautiful, the things that have been hard. And something about owning it, I think, kind of frees you from the parts that maybe you're ashamed of. And I think it gives you an opportunity to walk in more freedom, and also provide an avenue for people to see that there's freedom and hope on the other side of what they're going through as well.
I love that perspective, for sure. Dorian, what do you have to say?
Yes. I think community is so necessary, and in this season, it has been so difficult to really keep community going. And I think part of what this project does is builds a sense of community, and it allows us to see unique perspectives that I may not be able to relate to, but like the trailer said, you may not understand it, but I know you can empathize. And so I think, just kind of building this space for empathy and allowing people to be able to validate their own stories, and then also just know that someone can share in their delight or share in their pain. I think it's just a really beautiful opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much. So remember, there's still time to submit your story. We hope our lovely panelists have encouraged you to take out your camera and go ahead and share. Please visit mpt.org/PBS American Portrait and click on Share Your Story. And as always, comment below or submit your questions to events@mpt.org. We absolutely love hearing from you. So thank you all to our panelists. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your story. And we hope to see you all soon.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Thank you.